Hello everyone, welcome to lesson 3.1 part 3. Here we are going to see how to create custom blocks in Snap today. So on my left side is a make a block that is used to create a custom block. Now in order to get to this dialog box, you can click on the make a block in the bottom of each block category. For example, you have motion, looks or list or anything like that. You can always go to the bottom whenever you click on one of these in your snap, and you can find a make a block, and the dialog box on the left will appear after you click the make a block. So there are three types of custom blocks. The first one is a command block, which looks like a puzzle piece. So you have seen move 10 steps, point towards, and change Y2 are some of the command blocks. So if you're creating a custom block, and if you want to create a command block, you can choose one of these puzzles. And if you look on our previous side also over here, you can see the command blocks have puzzle kind of shape. So the command blocks do not have any output. So if you do move 10 steps, it moves some things, but it does not give an output on to itself. So here the pen is doing something, so you can see the output on the stage, but it's actually a side effect of this command. Then next one is a reporter block. It looks like circular on the sides, and it's always output something. So if you're saying current date, it will output the today's date. If you say costume of one sprite, it would show you what costume this sprite has. And if you say answer, it would give you the answer to any of the questions that you ask. So outputs can be anything, but it always outputs something. So you have to remember that in command blocks we do not have any output. In reporter blocks we always have an output. And the third one is a predicate block, which looks like hexagons like these. This is a special case of reporter block because these also always output something. And in reporter block the output can be anything, but in predicate blocks the output is always true or false. So if you say key space is pressed, the output would be it's either true or false. If the key space is pressed, it's a true, otherwise it's a false. Similarly, these predicate blocks will always return true or false, and these kind of return values are called boolean values. So if something just returns true or false, it's called boolean value. So it's like a yes or no question. So any answer to a yes or no question is a boolean value. So basically boolean value is nothing but true or false. Now we're going to take a look at our custom blocks demonstration in Snap. Here I have a square. So I have a bunch of code which draws a square. So let's take a look. It is drawing square. Now if I want to make a custom block that makes a square, so that next time somebody comes in, we do not need to have a square. We do not need to program a square every time somebody comes in. They can use your code to make a square. So first of all, let's see, where do we want to put our square? So it should be somewhere in the motion because this is moving the sprite. So I would click on make a block, and the motion is already selected over here. I would call this a square square. And if you see over here, I have selected the command block rather than anything else. And you also have this option called for this sprite only and for all the sprites. So this is like a command block that can be used by which sprites. So if you have like different type of sprites and you want to make different blocks for different things, you can use this. Now let me click OK. Now this is a block editor mode. Here you can create your blocks. So over here you can see you can have for example, in this go to block you have one option over here. If you click bring it over here, or let's go to block. So you have options. You can put things over here. So if you want to have these kind of options, you can click over here and give it a name. So for example, I can call this sides. So or sides or input side sides, len. Just let me just call it length. So right now I don't have a length, but if I wanted to, I could put a length over here. So let's see, and I can say the length over here. So in this example we are moving, so in this example the user gives a length and we are creating a square, but we are creating a square of that many lengths. So and we're moving that many lengths over here, that many steps. So let me create this, and the square is over here. Now I can say 30, and if I click, it will create a square of length 30. Now if I make it 50, it would create a square of length 50. So what we did over here, if you want to edit this, you can go over here and make an edit. So what we did over here was, this code was already there, it was making you a square. So we added this code under a square block. So we created a square block that contains this code, and we added some input to the square block over here, and that input we can use throughout our square block code. So we are getting this input and we are using that input to create our square. This is one of the examples of the square that I have created. Now let's take a look at reporter block. So over here I have a reporter block similarly. Now the reporter block does not have any input over here. Instead, what I'm doing is I'm asking the user what's his full name, and then I'm creating a variable called name. So you probably remember creating variables from here. So I created a variable called name, and I set the variable to your name is, and the reporter block will join your name is and the answer. So whatever the answer comes in, the reporter block will report it as your name is and the answer. So let's take a look how this works. So what is your full name? My name is Ali, and let's see, your name is Asis. So this is the reporter block, and then finally we have a predicate block. So as we know from the slides, that the predicate block either gives a yes or no or true or false. So I've created a guessing game, a block called a guessing game. So when in this guessing game, you are the user, or the user is asked to guess a number, and the guessing game will get an input from the number. Let's see where this is. I've placed it in the operator so you can see the color also. Now over here in the guessing game, what I'm going to do is put an answer over here in the guessing game, just like I did, and then I'm not going to delete the whole thing, I'm just going to delete this instance. So when you click this, I'm going to guess a number 1. So I'm going to see if I corrected guess the right number. It said false, so it's I did not guess the right number. Let me try that one more time. So 2. Again, I did not guess the right number, so let me do 1 again, and I guessed the right number. Over here, if you look at this, what I'm doing is, again, I have the guessing game, and I created one input over here by clicking this plus sign, and I gave the input as number. And so the reporter block, what it does is reports. So I'm adding a report block over here. What it does is, it says is if it picks up a random number between 1 and 2 and checks if your answer is identical to the number that the system picked. So I can make it to 20. So in this case, it would be harder to guess. So Let's see. Guess a uh, guess a number. That's 5. And if I it gave me a false. So this is one of the examples of predicate block. In our next video, we're going to look into our lab, and I'm going to give you some hints on the lab. So see you on next video.